Hello everyone, how are you guys doing today? I'm Star Wars Meg, here to give you another Mandalorian Season 2 update. Season 2 is 32 days away, guys. It's so exciting. I'm hyped, I'm sure you are too. So as always, I'm going to give you the news of what's going on in The Mandalorian. Before I get into the video, guys, please may I ask you to hit like on this video, to subscribe to my channel if you're new, and hit the notifications bell to be alerted every time I upload a new video. And please also consider contributing to this channel by becoming a patron of mine on Patreon. For just $2 a month, you can help me to support my channel so I can keep providing you with daily updates. But without further ado, let's get into today's video. So the first piece of news that we're going to be looking at comes from CBR, and they've been talking about a potential arc for the child and how he is potentially linked to a key Clone Wars arc. So let's get into the article. Contrary to popular belief, the young baby Djarin brings around him isn't called Baby Yoda, he's called the Child, and this name is reminiscent of another set of characters in Star Wars canon. This connection is something that fan theorists have latched onto with quite keen interest, speculating the possibilities of what this connection means. In the Clone Wars, fans are introduced to a set of profoundly Force-sensitive characters. These are known as the Father, the Daughter, and the Son. Each represent an aspect of the Force. The Father is perfect balance, the Daughter is lightness, and the Son is darkness. A new fan theory posted on Reddit proposes the child might tie into this trifecta in a surprising way. The theory recounts the events of the Mortis arc from the Clone Wars, reminding readers about how the arc presents the imbalance between the light and the dark side of the Force. The arc ends with the father destroying himself and the son, while also restoring Ahsoka with his daughter's life essence. This arc essentially exists as a metaphor for the events of the prequel and sequel trilogy moving forward, showing how the Force is cyclical. The theory proposes that the same cycle will continue with Ahsoka, who now exists as a new iteration of the daughter since she was restored with her life essence during this arc. They argue that Ahsoka, now an embodiment of the light side, needs to create life in order to establish a new sense of balance. In doing so, she creates the child, who possesses great strength in both the light and dark sides, hence why he used force choking in Season 1 of The Mandalorian. However, in order to create balance, she will have to die at some point as the child grows and prospers. In doing so, the child will need to create a perfect balance in the Force as a new father. The theory compares this to how Rey and Kylo Ren balance each other out in the sequel trilogy. This secondary arc of the father, daughter and son metaphor continues the metaphor into the new generation. The child is calculated to be roughly 50 years old by the time Djarin encounters him, and The Mandalorian takes place 9 years after the Battle of Yavin, so this means that the child would have been born roughly 41 years before Yavin. The Clone Wars, by comparison, takes place 19 to 22 years before the Battle of Yavin. Meanwhile, The Phantom Menace, the earliest point in the current cinematic timeline, takes place 32 years before Yavin. This means that the child would have been alive for the entire cinematic series up until this point, long before the encounter with the child, daughter or son. In fact, the child is older than Ahsoka Tano herself, being born 36 years before the Battle of Yavin. This might not matter too much because Star Wars Rebels introduces time travel into the universe, indicating that the child could have been born at any point in the timeline before being sent back. In theory, it's possible that Ahsoka did create the child, or at the very least she can or will turn the child into the conduit of balance. On that note, there's also no evidence that Ahsoka exists as the mother in this metaphor. The simple reality is that this theory could be a very interesting, compelling one that could drive the metaphorical spine of this arc into a new generation. It's a fun speculative theory, but the timeline simply does not add up. It is more likely that the child's origins are more tied up with the most enigmatic race in Star Wars lore rather than the allegory of balance in the Force. So yeah, like the end of this piece says, I don't think this theory is going to add up too much, even though it's a very interesting one, and we can't really rule anything out till we get Season 2. But you know, just like many other fans, I have also speculated numerous times on my channel over the last month about how the child could tie in to the Skywalker saga and Star Wars universe as we know it already. But I think that Dave Filoni and Jon Favreau want to go their own direction while also giving some fan service, so we're just going to have to wait and see till October 30th. But what do you guys think? Do you think this holds up? I don't think it does. You let me know down below. So let's move on to our next article. So this next article talks about Sasha Banks' character and who the identity of the hooded woman in the trailer is. I've already done numerous pieces on this over the last few updates about what I think. I do think she could be Sabine Wren, but I also believe she could be a completely new character altogether. I don't particularly know if she's going to be a character we know and have seen in the Star Wars universe, but this article claims that she isn't Sabine or a Jedi. So let's talk about it. Sasha Banks turned heads with an appearance in the Mandalorian Season 2 trailer, but could she be playing a sinister figure from Star Wars' past? Former WWE Women's Champion Sasha Banks' role in the upcoming second season of The Mandalorian remains a mystery. Fans have speculated wildly about who she'll play in the show's second season since her surprise trailer appearance. Popular fan theories include Banks will be playing Sabine Wren from Rebels, with some even making wilder speculations about who she could be from the Star Wars past. While those are still as good a guess as any, her appearance in the trailer hints at a more sinister role. Banks' costume, a dark hooded cloak, somber expression and sudden disappearance all hint a more menacing character rather than Wren or even a Jedi. All those clues add up to the possibility that she'll play a former Imperial Inquisitor. First appearing in Rebels' debut episode, the Inquisitors were a group of Force-sensitive agents of the dark side. Formed by Emperor Palpatine, they worked for the Empire, primarily hunting down Jedi who survived Order 66 and the Jedi Purge. Throughout Rebels' run, they came into conflict with surviving Jedi like Ahsoka, Kanan Jarrus, and his Padawan Ezra Bridger. With the Jedi considered extinct, the Inquisitors disappeared at the time of the Galactic Civil War. The Mandalorian takes place 5 years after the end of the war in Return of the Jedi. While the Inquisitors as a whole weren't active during this time frame, there's no reason they couldn't still be active across the galaxy. It's plausible that a surviving Inquisitor could be acting as a mercenary in the Mandalorian's gig economy. That could be where Banks' character comes in. Moff Gideon has already shown he has many resources at his disposal in the hunt for the child. Gideon has an army of remnant stormtroopers, including Death Troopers straight out of Rogue One, on his payroll. Beyond manpower, he also has many weapons in his arsenal. Gideon clearly has resources. With everything else he's proven capable of acquiring, it would seem like child's play for him to hire a former Inquisitor. Given the hunting ability they acquired during hunting Jedi alongside Vader, a single one of them would make a formidable foe for the Mandalorian. So normally I wouldn't include too many fan theories on my channel like this one, but I wanted to put it in today's update because it does seem like a credible theory for who Sasha Banks' character might be. I think so far a lot of Star Wars fans want to believe it's Sabine Wren or other characters who would line up with this timeline, but it is wishful thinking. It could be a completely new character we've never seen before, but Imperial Inquisitor does seem like a very cool hypothesis, which would tie in very well with what we know from Season 1 and also Star Wars in general, including Jedi Fallen Order, by the way. And so the final news article I have for you guys today comes from a rumor that Star Wars Rebels is going to have its own live-action movie. Recently, Star Wars fans have been grasping at any shred of information about what's happening next in the Star Wars film franchise. Lucasfilm President Kathleen Kennedy has stated that the Star Wars executive team needs to take a step back before sharing more of the Star Wars universe on the silver screen. What we know for sure so far is that all 3 films have been scheduled for the next trilogy, but they've been pushed back a year to 2023. There's also been confirmation that Taika Waititi will be directing the 2025 Star Wars movie release. Now the online Star Wars rumor mill is swirling with reports that a live-action Star Wars Rebel movie is in the works. Rebels was an animated series that ran for 4 seasons from 2014 to 2018. It's introduced the Star Wars fans to popular characters like Ezra and Sabine Wren, but when The Mandalorian Season 2 showed a brief glimpse of Sasha Banks, many viewers felt that this had to be Sabine Wren. All of this proves that Star Wars showrunners aren't afraid of exploring live-action versions of animated series. With the popularity of Rebels, it would not be surprising if the rumors of a Star Wars Rebels movie turned out to be true. Now, my problem with this article from InsideTheMagic.net is they don't provide any sources, and a lot of what they've said in the past happen to be completely false. So let's just see if this pans out. I'm a wishful thinker in that I would love to see a Star Wars Rebels live-action movie, but I suppose it depends on how Season 2 of The Mandalorian goes. If they're going to introduce characters like Bo-Katan and Sabine Wren and Ahsoka, would we really want to see them in a different form in a live-action movie? I'm going to say potentially. But let's just wait and see what Lucasfilm do between now and the release of the new trilogy in 2023. So that's all I have for you guys today. I know there have been no major news updates, but I wanted to inform you about what has been in the news with The Mandalorian lately. So let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. Subscribe to my channel if you're new, hit like on this video if you enjoyed it. Also, like I said, please consider becoming a patron of mine on Patreon, and I will see you tomorrow. I'm Star Wars Meg.